The Iliad and the Odyssey, Act 5, Black Ships Before Troy by Rosemary Sutcliff. These are our new vocabulary words that go with Act 5. Some of them may be review. Most of them look to me to be new. Remember, they are highlighted in yellow as we read and as you read, so you can go back and find the meanings if you don't already know the meanings. Amber, fossilized tree resin and jewelry. Embroidery is decorative stitching. A hilt is the handle of a sword. Swoop is a fast downward movement, like a bird of prey will swoop down to the ground to catch his food. A kilt is a knee-length skirt worn by men. A cloak is a blanket worn around the shoulders. A tunic is a long sleeveless shirt. Turquoise is another rare gem made for jewelry or in jewelry. Resourceful is full of resources, or the person finds clever solutions to a problem. Bronze is a metal that is hard, brown, and shiny. Studded is decorated with metal knobs. Garments are clothing. Furious, full of fury or very angry. And an inn, with two N's, rents rooms to travelers, kind of like a motel. One of our new vocabulary words is the word kilt. And if you'll notice that it's a skirt worn by men, and this slide gives us 3 examples of a Scottish gentleman wearing a kilt, a Greek warrior wearing a kilt, and the third picture, these are modern day Greek soldiers who are wearing kilts. Modern day means close to the year 2020. But Thetis's loving plans failed after all, for following the seaways eastward, part of the fleet put in to take on fresh water at Sicros, where the whisper was abroad that Prince Achilles was concealed. King Lycomedes welcomed the warriors, but denied all knowledge of the young prince. The leaders were desperate to find him, for Calchas, chief among the soothsayers who sailed with them, had said that they would not take Troy without him. Remember, a soothsayer tells. Then Odysseus, who was not called the resourceful for nothing, blackened his beard and eyebrows and put on the garments of a trader, turning his hair up under a seaman's red cap. He had a staff in one hand and a huge pack on his back when he went up to the palace. When the girls heard that there was a traitor in the forecourt of the palace, out from the women's quarters they all came running, Achilles among them, veiled like the rest to see the traitor undo his pack. Now remember, from Act 4, Achilles is hiding with the women in the palace. When he opened his pack, each of them chose what they liked best: a wreath of gold, a necklace of amber, a pair of turquoise earrings, blue as the sky, a skirt of embroidered scarlet silk, until the pack was nearly empty. Now remember to take note of the non-literal language simile in this passage. At the bottom of the pack lay a great sword of bronze, the hilt studded with golden nails. The last of the girls, who was still closely veiled, had held back as though waiting all the while, but then swooped forward and caught it up as one well used to the handling of such weapons. I think Achilles just gave himself away. Notice the girls in quotation marks, because he's not a girl, and he's the last of the people waiting to talk to the traitor. At the familiar feel of the hilt, the spell that his mother had cast upon him dissolved away. "This is for me," cried Prince Achilles, pulling off his veil. The kings and chieftains of the fleet greeted and rejoiced over him. They stripped off his girl's garments and dressed him in kilt and cloak as befitted a warrior with his new sword slung at his side. Then they sent him back to the court of his father Peleus, king of the Myrmidons, to claim the ships and fighting men that were his by right, that he might add them to the fleet. Remember homophones, right and right, two different meanings. His mother wept over him, saying, I had hoped to keep you safe for the love I bear you, but now it must be for you to choose. Remember, the word bide means to stay. If you bide here with me, you shall live long and be happy. But if you go forth now with the fighting men, you will make for yourself a name that shall last as long as men tell stories around a fire, even to the ending of the world. But you will not live to see the first gray hair in your beard, and you will come home no more to your father's hall. Then, short life and long fame for me, said Achilles, fingering his new sword. So his father gave him 50 ships fully manned, and Patroclus to go with him as his friend and sword companion. His mother, weeping still, armed him in his father's armor, glorious war gear that Hephaestus, the metalsmith of the gods, had made for him. Then he sailed away to join the fleet of black ships on their way to Troy. This is the end of Act 5. I'm wondering if Achilles' mother's premonition about him not coming back will prove to be true.